Hello everyone, it's Lindsay and I am jumping into my first day of my Advent project. I'm using the verses from the Shepherd on the Search family devotional, and there are several different verses for each day. So for today I will be using 2 Corinthians 1, 20 through 22. They stopped at 21, but I went ahead and went to 22. And I am actually journaling in a junk journal. So I took a book and made this into a journal that I can work in. I added some gesso to the left-hand side of the page and then some white acrylic paint to the right side of the page. I'll show you why I did that here in a minute, but I'm showing you I'm going to take some paper from the Illustrated Faith Advent collection to cover up the center part of the book page. So this is how I'm going to cover up any of the text that's in the book. I will link the video down below where I show kind of how I put this book together. And on the left-hand side of the page, I'm going to ink smush with some Broken China Distress Oxide ink. And this is why I applied gesso to this side, because I was going to be using a lot of wet mediums. I'm not going to be adding as much wetness to the right-hand side of the page, so it didn't need to be gesso. And this gesso isn't quite as opaque as that white acrylic paint. And I don't know, I think I just changed my mind halfway through about what I was going to use. So I went ahead and smushed that, dried it, and now I'm going in and smushing some Heidi Swap Color Shine in gold. You could do this with watered down gold acrylic paint or gold gelato, anything like that if you don't have the Color Shine. But I'm going to try to use some products in here that I don't get to use in my Bible because I don't have to worry about bleed through in this book because the pages are so thick. I glued 2 pages together, and then most of these pages are going to have pattern paper on it as well, and so it's just extra thick, and I can use a lot of mediums that I wouldn't use in my Bible. So here I'm just sprinkling a little bit of that gold shine on the right hand side of the spread. The 6x8 paper pads from Illustrated Faith don't quite cover the entire page in this book just because of the size of the book. So any areas that are exposed, I'm kind of creating a frame behind the paper and making it look like it's intentional. So the little peaks of gold will come out from behind this patterned paper. And I am still trying to decide if wet glue or adhesive works better in this project. The pages do warp and shrink and things like that. It's going to be a messy project. The pages aren't going to lay perfectly flat, and that's okay. I'm totally fine with that. And so I am working with blues and golds. Here I printed out the verse. So I went ahead and typed up today's verse and tomorrow's verse ahead of time and printed them out. And that's how I'm going to get the verses in this journal each day. And for some custom paper behind it, I'm just inking up a piece of cardstock with that same Broken China Distress Oxide ink. And then I'm going to take the Emmanuel stamp set from Sunshine Stamp Co. This is no longer available, but if you've got it or one like it, pull it out. I'm taking the little holly leaves and I'm going to do some tone-on-tone stamping. So I'm going in and stamping with that same Broken China and going to create my custom patterned paper. And so only the edges are going to poke out behind the verse, so I'm not worried about getting the center covered. I'm going to go ahead and sped this up quite a bit because I did go ahead and do quite a bit of stamping. There's 2 different sizes of leaves, and it's going to be fun working in a journal like this as opposed to my Bible, since I don't have to worry about covering up text or anything like that. I can just go to town. To jazz this up a little bit more, that paper had some gold foiling in it, so I'm going to add some gold embossing to this piece. So I'm just adding my EK Success powder tool and making sure that the embossing powder doesn't stick to that ink, so I'm making sure that that ink's dry. And of course, the embossing powder did not stick, so that means it's dry. So I'm going to go ahead and take one of the star stamps from that stamp set, and I'm going to stamp it using some Versamark ink. This is a clear, sticky ink. So I'm just going to go ahead and stamp this right over the top of those holly berries. Doesn't match, but that's okay. They're star-shaped hollies. So I'll go all around, and halfway through, I'm just going to add some embossing powder. That way I can make sure that I'm not smearing the ink. I can see it this way. And I'm using some Zing Gold Metallic embossing powder. This is kind of a chunky embossing powder, but it's fine for this because it's just a pattern that's going to go behind my scripture. And so today I had a little bit more time to play than I will every single day, so I kind of did some fun techniques to share with you guys for the spread today. So I went ahead and heat up that embossing powder until it was good and melted, and now I can go ahead and attach the verse that I printed out right in the center of there. And I did all of this in Photoshop so I could kind of make sure that everything was sized so that it would fit in the Bible page or the book pages that I have in this particular book. For the bottom of this page here, I'm going to use the tree stamp from the Emmanuel stamp set. I used this in a recent video, the Galaxy watercolor video. Check that out. I'll have it linked in the top right hand corner. A lot of fun. Really love this simple tree, but it's such a great little statement. And add some detail to the page. So I'm stamping with STAIS-On ink. I am stamping over gesso, so I do want to use a little more permanent of an ink, and I don't have to worry about bleed through, so I can use whatever type of ink that I want. And I will just go ahead and stamp those two different sizes of trees just to fill some of the blank spot. I am going to put some journaling down here also, just a little prayer and some reflection on the verse and the devotional for today. So I am leaving myself some room for that. Again, using my adhesive tape runner, I'm going to attach this down to the page. And so I'm excited to see how each entry is going to be a little bit different and kind of get outside of the box with, with this project here. Another fun thing about working in a junk journal is this. So I get to use some wood veneer snowflakes. These are really thick and chunky, and I am going to gold foil these. So I'm taking some Tombow Mono Multi liquid glue and brushing it over the front of the snowflake. This glue dries tacky and sticky. So you want a glue that dries to a sticky finish to use with gold foiling. You could paint these or just leave them how they are, but I thought it'd be fun to tie in some more of that gold. So this is deco foil, and I have a piece here, and I'm just going to rub it once that glue is dry. So the glue is dry, I'm going to lay the foil over the top and then just go over it with a card to really rub it and burnish it into the top of the snowflake. I wasn't sure how this was going to work, but I was really impressed with how well that adheres. So you can see there's only a couple little spots that didn't get foil on it, but the whole front of that snowflake is now foiled. And I'm going to go back in with my EK6S powder tool. This basically has like cornstarch or baby powder in it, and I'm brushing it over. That way any stickiness that might be left over is getting covered and won't be sticky anymore, so my pages won't stick together. So I went ahead and did that for a few different snowflakes there. And now I'm also going to combine this project with December Daily. So I went ahead and printed out some pictures, a picture of my boys from today. I didn't have a picture of my breakfast with my husband. I'm pretty sure he would have left me if I took pictures of my food. So I found some stock images on freepik.com. I'll link that website down below. And I just sized them in Photoshop and printed them out on some photo paper. And now I'm going to mount them on this really pretty reflective red paper. This is from the Target Dollar Spot from last year. And I'm just going to use some foam squares to attach these to this paper. Now, I filmed this on November 30th, so my entries are going to be a day earlier than they actually are supposed to be for filming purposes. So my December daily will be a little funky, but normally you'd be taking pictures and journaling for each day in December. So mine will actually be a day ahead. I'm going to do some stamping on these pieces here. These are some images from freepik.com, and I have December 2017. This is another stamp set from Sunshine Stamp Co. I'm not sure if this one is available. She's running very low on stock. There's going to be some changes to the store, so stamps, once they run out, will not be restocked. But if it's available, I will link it down below. And I'm using a stamp positioning tool to stamp this down, and I'm using STAIS-On ink. You want to use something like STAIS-On or archival ink to make sure that it stays really well on this glossy photo paper. For the other little piece, I'm going to stamp day 1 using the Offset Alphas stamp set from Sunshine Stamp Co. I do believe this one's still in stock, so I will link that down below. And each day is going to be a little bit different depending on how many photos I have or what I did. Today was a little bit more of a filled-in day with activities, so I had a little bit more to write about and a few more pictures to add in there than I typically would. So each day will just look a little different as we progress through the month here. I went ahead and attached those with the foam tape and trimmed out that red paper. And now I'm taking some foiled red washi tape to bring some more red to the opposite page. I hadn't really planned on using red at first, so I'm going to have to go back in and kind of balance things out here. And at this point, you can really add whatever extra little elements you want, dress it up, add chunky things, just go to town depending on how much time you have or want to spend on it. Go ahead and add just 2 little strips of washi there, and then I'm going to attach these wood veneer plate pieces with my Tombow Mono Multi Glue. That's a really strong adhesive, and just adhere down all the little pieces that need to be glued down at this point. Off camera, I went ahead and did some journaling, reflection on the devotion, and then also some journaling just for our activities today and what happened today. And so those are those 2 projects combined. If you have any questions, be sure to leave them down in the comments down below. Check out the description box for links to all of the products, as well as I'm over on the Sunshine Stamp Co. blog today, so go check that out. And subscribe to my channel if you're not already subscribed. And until next time, thank you so much. Bye-bye.